Please subscribe and like the video before continuing. Cane Ashby and Devon Winters connect. The Young and the Restless spoilers for Tuesday, October 21st reveal that Cane will connect with Devon. Apparently, the tycoon tries to make amends to the music label owner. However, I can't see Devon trusting Cane at this point. The young man will likely tell the tycoon to stop talking and prove it. Cane Ashby and Devon Winters connect, unlikely allies in Genoa City's turbulent waters. In the ever-dramatic world of The Young and the Restless, few storylines have captured the audience's attention as profoundly as the evolving relationship between Cane Ashby and Devon Winters. On the surface, these two men come from vastly different backgrounds: Cane, the ambitious but troubled former businessman, and Devon, the soulful, emotionally driven music mogul. Despite their differences, their bond has become a pivotal storyline on the show, proving that even the most unlikely of allies can form meaningful connections. Their journey together has not been without its challenges. From the early days of mutual distrust to their eventual collaboration and personal growth, Cane and Devon's evolving dynamic has been full of drama, emotional moments, and revelations that have both surprised and thrilled fans. This article explores the complex relationship between Cane and Devon, from their initial conflict to their eventual understanding and alliance, all set against the backdrop of Genoa City's ongoing chaos and intrigue. Please subscribe and like the video before continuing. The early days, a relationship built on tension and competition. Cane Ashby's arrival in Genoa City immediately put him at odds with many of its residents. A former employee at Chancellor Industries, Cane had a complicated relationship with the Abbott family, particularly with Neil Winters, Devon's father. Their past was riddled with business rivalries, betrayals, and tense encounters. When Cane and Devon were first introduced to each other, their relationship was anything but friendly. Devon, who had recently emerged as a powerful figure in the music industry, saw Cane as someone who embodied the sort of ruthless, self-serving behavior he despised. On the other hand, Cane, who was struggling to find his footing after his own personal and professional missteps, viewed Devon's polished success as a reminder of everything he had failed to achieve. From the outset, both men were suspicious of each other, with Devon perceiving Cane as a threat and Cane feeling alienated from a world where Devon seemed to have everything. This early dynamic between Cane and Devon was marked by competition and a lack of understanding. Cane's business dealings, including his controversial time at Chancellor, clashed with Devon's more ethical approach to both business and personal relationships. Their tension was palpable, but it was clear that both men were more alike than they initially cared to admit. Beneath the animosity was a deep-seated desire for validation and success, though they often channeled these desires in different ways. Shifting alliances, a business partnership emerges. Despite their initial conflict, the winds of change began to blow in Genoa City, and the two men found themselves working together in unexpected ways. As The Young and the Restless continued to evolve, so too did the nature of Cane and Devon's relationship. Circumstances forced them into situations where they needed to put aside their differences and work together for mutual benefit. One of the most significant turning points in their relationship came when Devon faced business challenges that required the expertise and resources that Cane could offer. At first, both men were reluctant to collaborate, but as the stakes grew higher, they realized that they could no longer afford to remain at odds. The partnership between Cane and Devon was born out of necessity, but over time, it became clear that there was more to their connection than just business. Cane's skills in business, particularly in the areas of negotiation and strategy, complemented Devon's more creative and emotional approach to decision-making. What began as a business alliance soon turned into a personal one, as both men found themselves relying on each other for guidance and support. The collaborative dynamic between them offered a fresh perspective on both their strengths and weaknesses, and viewers were able to witness their transformation from adversaries to allies. The emotional depth, personal struggles and vulnerabilities. Please subscribe and like the video before continuing. While their professional relationship evolved, Cane and Devon's personal lives also began to intertwine, revealing the emotional depths of their characters. For both men, their pasts were fraught with trauma, loss, and heartache, and these experiences shaped their worldviews and how they interacted with those around them. Their vulnerabilities, once hidden behind layers of bravado and pride, began to surface as they spent more time together. Cane's troubled relationship with his own family, particularly with his father, and his tumultuous past with women, weighed heavily on his psyche. His feelings of inadequacy, compounded by a series of mistakes and betrayals, made him reluctant to fully open up to others, especially someone like Devon, who had been raised in a more stable environment. However, over time, Cane began to see that Devon's emotional intelligence and ability to forgive were qualities he admired and longed to understand for himself. For Devon, the loss of his father Neil was a profound turning point in his life. As someone who had always looked up to Neil as both a mentor and a father figure, Devon struggled to navigate his grief while also stepping into his new role as a leader within the music industry. His emotional turmoil, compounded by his strained relationships with other family members, created a sense of isolation that only Cane seemed to understand. As both men confronted their pasts, their shared experiences created a deeper bond between them. They were no longer just business partners, they were men navigating their emotional scars, finding healing and support in each other's company. Their evolving relationship became a powerful narrative about the importance of emotional vulnerability, forgiveness, and the healing power of connection. Cane and Devon's legacy, moving beyond business. As their alliance strengthened, it became clear that Cane and Devon's relationship was no longer confined to business dealings. They had transcended their early rivalry and learned to respect each other's strengths, weaknesses, and emotional journeys. Their bond became more than just a professional partnership, it was a brotherhood. One of the most compelling aspects of their relationship was how they each began to push the other toward personal growth. Cane encouraged Devon to embrace his leadership abilities and take risks in his business ventures, while Devon helped Cane reconcile with his past mistakes and embrace a more emotionally open approach to his relationships. Their mutual influence became a driving force behind their personal and professional successes, and fans of the show were captivated by the way their story unfolded. The culmination of Cane and Devon's partnership was a series of major decisions that changed the course of both their careers and their personal lives. Whether it was taking risks in the business world, confronting difficult family issues, or facing down personal demons, Cane and Devon's journey together was a testament to the power of personal evolution and the importance of finding strength in unlikely places. The power of forgiveness and redemption. Please subscribe and like the video before continuing. At the heart of Cane and Devon's connection lies a powerful message about forgiveness and redemption. Both men had made mistakes, Cane with his past business dealings and personal choices, and Devon with his struggles in dealing with grief and responsibility. Yet, as their relationship developed, they learned to forgive each other and, more importantly, to forgive themselves. Their shared understanding of the importance of second chances made their bond even more meaningful, both on a personal and professional level. This theme of forgiveness resonated deeply with the audience, as viewers watched Cane and Devon navigate the complexities of their pasts while forging a path toward a brighter future. Their story became a reflection of the reality that healing and redemption are possible, even for those who have faced significant struggles. Looking to the future, Cane and Devon's next chapter. As the Young and the Restless continues to evolve, the future of Cane and Devon's relationship remains uncertain. While both men have made significant strides in their personal growth and professional success, their journey together is far from over. They will undoubtedly face new challenges, both as individuals and as a pair, but one thing is clear, their connection is one that cannot be easily broken. The legacy of Cane and Devon's bond will continue to be explored in the coming months and years, and their fans eagerly await the next chapter in their evolving story. Whether they are facing new business challenges, navigating family drama, or supporting each other through personal difficulties, Cane and Devon will undoubtedly continue to be a powerful presence in Genoa City. Read this, Y&R spoilers next 2 weeks, Ian haunts Mariah, Sienna and Nick connect. Tuesday, October 21, 2025. In the next episode, fans can also expect Phyllis to take a big risk. This might have something to do with Christine Blair's, Laura Lee Bell, wedding. It could also have something to do with Kane's plan to earn redemption by using AI. Kane told her to come up with some pitches, and she said she would. What is this? Report ad. So, what is the big plan, and is it really possible for Kane to earn redemption after all of this? What does this mean for the rest of the characters and their companies? Is there any way for Kane to climb out of the mess he's currently in? Which storyline are you looking forward to seeing the most on Tuesday, October 21st? Please subscribe and like the video before continuing. 2025? Share your thoughts in the comments section below. Remember to keep watching the soap on CBS or Paramount Plus to find out what happens next. Please subscribe and like the video before continuing. The Young and the Restless spoilers Tuesday, October 21st, Tessa's bold move, Kane and Devon connect, Mariah's mental health. The Young and the Restless spoilers are in for Tuesday, October 21st, 2025. In the next episode, fans can expect Tessa Porter, Kate Fairbanks, to make a bold move. Want more of The Young and the Restless? Get updates on the latest news about The Young and the Restless, straight to your inbox. We use your personal data for interest-based advertising, as outlined in our privacy notice. What is this? Report ad. Kane Ashby, Billy Flynn, tries to make things right with Devon Winters, Bryden James. Plus, Phyllis Summers, Michelle Stafford, places a risky bet. Keep reading and let's talk about what is coming up in the CBS soap opera. Make sure to check out our weekly Y&R spoilers, here. Mariah Copeland's mental health. Let's start off with Mariah. Fans know that Tessa recently went to Boston to visit Mariah Copeland, Cameron Grimes. The redhead is getting mental health treatment after trying to kill a man, Michael Swan. However, when the singer went to see her wife, she was caught off guard. The brunette mentioned that Mariah doesn't seem to be getting better, but worse. Then, Mariah insisted that she had to go on this journey by herself. Mariah Copeland's mental health journey, a story of struggle, strength, and triumph in Genoa City. Mariah Copeland has become one of the most beloved characters on The Young and the Restless, but behind the confident exterior lies a history filled with inner turmoil, complicated relationships, and ongoing struggles with mental health. Mariah's journey through the ups and downs of life in Genoa City reveals both her vulnerability and her resilience. As we delve deeper into her experiences, it's clear that Mariah is not only a reflection of the power of storytelling on daytime television but also an important character whose mental health issues resonate with many viewers. From her early days on the show, Mariah was portrayed as a tough, independent woman who had been dealt a challenging hand. She had suffered the pain of being abandoned by her birth mother, Sharon Newman, and finding her place within the Abbott and Newman families wasn't easy. Still, Mariah always held her head high. But even the most seemingly invincible characters have their breaking points, and for Mariah, those points came at various junctures in her life. These moments weren't just personal drama, they provided insight into the complexity of mental health issues that often go unnoticed. The dark turn, depression and isolation. The first major chapter in Mariah's mental health story came when she began experiencing feelings of depression and isolation. While many viewers initially saw her as the confident, sarcastic friend with a sharp wit, there was a growing sense that something wasn't right behind her seemingly put-together exterior. This shift came during her strained relationship with her mother, Sharon. The complicated dynamics between the two became a driving force for Mariah's emotional decline, culminating in moments where she felt as though she wasn't truly understood by the people around her. Her mental health struggles were amplified by her internalized fears of rejection. As a young woman who had grown up with little support, Mariah often questioned her worth, and she feared that if she let people get too close, they would eventually leave her, just as her mother had done. This fear, rooted deeply in her abandonment issues, led to a downward spiral into depression, an emotion that many fans of the show could relate to on a personal level. The impact of Mariah's mental health on relationships. Please subscribe and like the video before continuing. One of the most poignant aspects of Mariah's mental health journey was how it affected her relationships with others, particularly her romantic entanglements. The character's dynamic with Tessa Porter, which evolved from friendship to romance, has been a focal point in Mariah's development. However, their relationship wasn't without its challenges. Mariah's anxiety and fears often manifested in ways that put a strain on their bond, causing her to doubt Tessa's commitment to her. Mariah's insecurities were not just about love but about herself, and this insecurity led to tension between them. What made this storyline even more compelling was how it mirrored the reality that mental health struggles can often lead to a sense of emotional isolation in relationships. Mariah's inner turmoil was portrayed with nuance, showing that while someone may be loved and supported by those around them, it's not always easy to accept that love when internal demons get in the way. The turning point: therapy and self-discovery. One of the most significant turning points for Mariah came when she sought professional help for her mental health. Therapy, a rare but important subject in daytime television, became an essential tool for Mariah's healing. Her willingness to acknowledge that she needed help was not just a turning point for her character but also a moment of growth for viewers. It showed that seeking help for mental health is a sign of strength, not weakness. As Mariah's story unfolded, viewers saw her face the stigma surrounding mental health, especially within the context of her family. Sharon, a woman who had herself struggled with her mental health in the past, became both a source of strength and a reminder of how difficult it can be to break the cycle of emotional pain. Mariah's therapy sessions, though rarely shown in depth, were pivotal in her journey to understanding herself and learning how to communicate her needs more effectively. Through therapy, Mariah began to unpack the trauma she had experienced in her past, especially the emotional toll of her abandonment. But it wasn't just about fixing herself. It was about understanding why she had struggled with her emotions and why she had acted out in ways that hurt her relationships. This process of self-discovery led to a new version of Mariah, one that was more self-aware and willing to confront her issues head-on. The road to healing: support systems and community. Another important aspect of Mariah's journey was the role of her support system. The portrayal of mental health issues on The Young and the Restless is nuanced, showing that healing is not a solitary journey. Mariah's friends, family, and especially Tessa, played pivotal roles in her recovery. Tessa's unconditional love and patience were invaluable, providing Mariah with a sense of stability and security that she had never known before. But even beyond romantic relationships, the Abbott family, especially her aunt, Ashley Abbott, and cousin, Abby Newman, served as her emotional anchors. What made Mariah's journey so compelling was the way the show highlighted the importance of community in mental health recovery. While it's easy to assume that someone who is struggling should simply pull themselves together, The Young and the Restless showcased that recovery is an ongoing process, one that requires empathy, understanding, and sometimes even tough love from those around you. The support of her family and friends was crucial to Mariah's healing process, showing that no one can truly heal alone. The importance of representation. Mariah's mental health storyline is also a vital piece of representation in daytime television. Mental health issues, especially those related to depression, anxiety, and trauma, are rarely explored in depth on soap operas. But by portraying a character like Mariah in such a raw and authentic way, The Young and the Restless helped bring much-needed visibility to the struggles many face in real life. For viewers who might have felt alone in their mental health journey, Mariah's story was a powerful reminder that they weren't. Additionally, the show's portrayal of therapy as an essential part of the healing process helped to destigmatize seeking professional help. Mariah's decision to see a therapist and confront her issues head-on was a storyline that resonated deeply with viewers who might have been afraid to take that first step themselves. Looking ahead, Mariah's continued growth and challenges. Though Mariah has made significant strides in her mental health journey, the road ahead remains full of challenges. Mental health is not something that can be fixed overnight, and there will always be ups and downs. As her character continues to evolve, it will be fascinating to see how Mariah handles future obstacles, both personal and professional, and how her mental health remains a focal point in her story. One thing is for sure: her journey will continue to inspire and offer a much-needed conversation. Please subscribe and like the video before continuing. About the importance of mental health care, vulnerability, and the strength it takes to overcome one's inner demons. In the end, Mariah Copeland is more than just a soap opera character. She is a symbol of perseverance, a reminder that mental health struggles are real, and that seeking help is not only okay but necessary. As viewers, we can only hope that her story continues to be told with the same sensitivity and depth that has made it so powerful and relatable to so many. Tessa Porter's bold move. After Tessa ripped up the Queen of Hearts card and left the clinic, she went back to the hotel. In a weekly preview clip, Tessa stumbles while going up the stairs. Since Daniel Romalotti, Jr., Michael Grazadii, is right there, he prevents a drunk Tessa from falling. After he catches her fall, Tessa reaches over to give him a passionate kiss. Read this, Y&R spoilers, GH chemistry tested as Claire seduces crooked cop. While Daniel does have romantic feelings for Tessa, he also knows that her heart still beats for Mariah. So, I'm not sure if Daniel will return the kiss, at least, not yet. Tessa Porter's bold move, breaking boundaries and defying expectations in Genoa City. Tessa Porter's journey on The Young and the Restless has been one of growth, transformation, and empowerment. A character who started out as a singer with a complicated past, Tessa's bold move to embrace her true self and fight for what she believes in has captured the hearts of viewers. Her journey isn't just about romance, although her relationship with Mariah Copeland is central to her story. It's also about standing up for her beliefs, breaking free from the shackles of her past, and carving a new path for herself in a world that often seems hostile to change. Tessa's story arc is filled with personal trials and triumphs, emotional highs and lows, and, of course, bold decisions that have reshaped her future and her relationships. These decisions have not only affected her personally but have had a ripple effect on everyone around her, from family to friends, and even the wider Genoa City community. This article explores the different facets of Tessa Porter's bold move, her emotional evolution, her risks, and the choices that led her to take steps that were, in many ways, life-changing. A struggle to define herself. Tessa's journey wasn't always filled with confidence or bold decisions. In fact, much of her early time in Genoa City was spent searching for her identity. As a young woman with a past filled with turmoil and heartbreak, Tessa had been running from the ghosts of her previous life. She had worked hard to move on from an abusive relationship and from the shadows of her difficult family history. Her sense of self was fragile, and her early interactions with Genoa City's residents often reflected this insecurity. What set Tessa apart from many characters was her willingness to confront her vulnerabilities. She was never the perfect, all-knowing heroine. She was someone who struggled with feeling inadequate and unsure of her place in the world. This humanizing aspect made her one of the most relatable characters on the show. Her courage to admit her flaws, especially when it came to matters of the heart, made her stand out, but it also made her journey a difficult one. Tessa's early decisions were often motivated by fear of rejection, fear of not being enough, and fear of being abandoned again. Her journey to self-acceptance wasn't easy, but it was the groundwork for the bold moves that would follow. As she faced emotional setbacks, personal heartbreaks, and the ongoing internal battle for self-worth, Tessa grew stronger, more independent, and more ready to take risks that would ultimately change her life forever. The bold move, embracing love in the face of adversity. One of the most defining moments in Tessa's character arc came when she made the bold decision to pursue a relationship with Mariah Copeland. While their romance began as a slow burn, Tessa's eventual confession of her love for Mariah was a transformative move. It was more than just about love, it was a statement about her willingness to face her own fears, embrace her identity, and take control of her own narrative. At the time, Tessa had faced numerous obstacles, both externally and internally. Her emotional baggage from her past relationship, her career insecurities, and the pressures of being in a complicated, sometimes judgmental world made her question if she was ready for such a commitment. But in the end, she chose to take the leap and trust both her heart and Mariah. This was the first bold move in a series that would shape the rest of her journey. Their relationship, though not without its challenges, represented something deeper. Tessa's desire for love that transcended fear and her willingness to choose herself and Mariah over everything else. Their shared struggles, from overcoming insecurities to facing external pressures, became an allegory for all relationships that seek authenticity and mutual respect. Facing her past, Tessa's battle with guilt and secrets. While Tessa's relationship with Mariah began to flourish, another layer of her complexity emerged, her guilt and secrets. Tessa had spent so long keeping her past under wraps, and the more her relationship with Mariah deepened, the more she realized that true love required honesty and openness. Her secrets weren't just things that she had hidden from others, they were things that had shaped her into the person she was, for better or worse. As the truth about her past came to light, Tessa was forced to confront the very things she had been running from for years. One of her most significant moments of growth came when she finally revealed the truth about her history, her involvement in illegal activities, her strained relationship with her family, and her struggles with her own self-worth. Tessa's decision to open up about her past was an incredibly bold move, one that many would shy away from. But it was an essential step for Tessa to evolve, and it allowed her to build a more solid foundation with Mariah. The revelation of Tessa's past also brought to the forefront her struggle with guilt. She had carried this burden for so long, and the fear that it would destroy her relationships weighed heavily on her. But through these revelations, she was able to shed the burden of guilt and embrace forgiveness, both from others and from herself. This was a defining moment in Tessa's life, as it signaled her ability to let go of the shame that had hindered her growth for so long. The role of music, Tessa's voice as a form of self-expression. Tessa's journey wasn't just emotional, it was also deeply creative. As a singer, music was a powerful outlet for her, allowing her to express feelings that words couldn't capture. Throughout her time on the show, music played a significant role in her emotional journey, and her decision to fully embrace her voice was another bold move that defined her character. Tessa's music wasn't just for entertainment, it was an essential part of her healing process. It became her way of processing emotions, communicating her innermost feelings, and connecting with others in ways that words alone couldn't achieve. Her music provided a window into her soul, allowing viewers to see the complexity of her character in ways that dialogue alone couldn't convey. Through her songs, Tessa was able to let go of her fears and express her authenticity. Her bold decision to embrace music not as a career but as a form of self-empowerment showed that she was not just surviving, she was living her truth. It was in her music that Tessa found her voice, both literally and metaphorically, and it was through her music that she fully embraced the bold moves that would define her character's evolution. Tessa's legacy, a symbol of courage and transformation. Tessa Porter's bold move wasn't just about making one pivotal decision, it was about how she continually pushed herself to grow, to challenge herself, and to confront the complexities of her life. Her journey from a scared, insecure young woman to a confident, loving partner, a successful artist, and a woman who took ownership of her narrative is one of the most empowering arcs on The Young and the Restless. Tessa's bold move continues to inspire viewers. Her story reminds us that real change comes from within, that true transformation requires bravery, vulnerability, and the willingness to face even the darkest parts of ourselves. Through her relationship with Mariah, her confrontations with her past, and her embrace of her music, Tessa has become a symbol of courage and self-empowerment. As viewers continue to follow Tessa's journey, it's clear that her bold move wasn't just a single moment, it was the start of a lifelong commitment to living authentically and unapologetically. She's not just a character on a soap opera, she's a living, breathing example of what it means to take control of one's life, no matter how difficult the road may be. Tessa Porter's bold move is a story of redemption, self-love, and the power of living fearlessly in a world that often tries to hold us back. It's a story that will continue to inspire, challenge, and resonate with audiences for years to come. Please subscribe and like the video before continuing.